I'm Kristen. Welcome to In Conversation with Keep Reading Kristen. Today, I'm joined by LitRPG and progression fantasy author Shawn Wilson, creator of the 11-book Ultimate Level 1 series, The Last Dragon Rider, Battle Through the Nine Realms, and his new time loop LitRPG Loopbreaker. Shawn originally wrote on Royal Road under the wonderfully appropriate name Dad's Bedtime Stories. Welcome to In Conversation. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thanks for having me. Likewise.
All right, here we go. We're going to begin with my favorite challenge, the 5-word pitch. Pitch the complete Ultimate Level 1 series to us in exactly 5 words.
5 words, man. I'd say that, the good guy actually wins. That's not the good guy actually wins. Yeah, it's 5 words. Man, I got it.
Nice job. Nailed it on the first one.
Yeah.
All right. Your Royal Road name is Dad's Bedtime Stories, and you've said that you enjoy writing stories for both your children and with them. Did storytelling begin as something you shared with your family before you ever imagined becoming a published author?
Yeah, I used to, just make up silly, stupid stories with my kids when they were young. Hates bedtime. Let's just make up something stupid. I created a land of nod, just because we were nodding off to sleep. And yeah, so that was kind of my thing.
Love that. With 6 children, do you have 6 very different types of beta readers?
I have 6 very different children. Each of them is unique in their own special way. But yeah, they all are very different.
Do they love to beta read for you? Do you allow them to beta read?
So a couple of my kids have. I actually have a story my daughter and I wrote back in 24 that should hopefully be done this year. We did a whole rewrite, got a developmental letter, wanted it to be. We're gonna release it through Mango Media, and so doing that.
Cool.
Yeah, so she's very dark. I mean, it's like, hey, what do you want to do? Like, kill him. I'm like, well,
I love that.
That's her. She's like, we're just gonna kill him. I'm like,
how old is she?
She's 16 now. So we started that when
love this.
Yeah.
I love that.
So
I love that.
It's a lot of fun. But yeah, each of them are unique. I'm trying to work on like a Minecraft and a Roblox story with my now 11-year-old as of this weekend. Like a cozy story with one of my other kids.
Yeah.
We're just trying to do a story with all of them. So
That's a lot of fun. I've been writing my dog story with my son since he was like 4 and he's 26. And I've put it off for years and years and years. And all of a sudden, I had this epiphany coming back from LitRPG Con. And I was like, I'm taking the Diego story and I'm going to put it in LitRPG, but picture book because I'm a teacher.
Nice.
So I've been working on that. And then I started a board book series. And my daughter, who's 13, is an amazing artist. And she's illustrating it.
That's cool.
So doing things with your kids is fantastic, and family. I love that. How much influence has your family had on your characters, the humor or the imaginary worlds?
A lot. So we adopted 2 children. I have 4 biological boys. Then we adopted a daughter and a son. And adoption plays a role from family stuff to you've done on the Last Dragon Riders. It's one of the main things in it. Family plays a big role. I think for me, whether it's lost family, found family, new family, and then each kid's got their own unique thing. I actually have a series I first wrote before I ever found Royal Road. It's kind of an ode to family, and there's 6 kids in it, and they have to save the world. So kind of one of those things.
Love that. Absolutely love that. It makes my heart happy. We need more of that. All right, so let's get into some questions about that are at the heart of the Ultimate Level 1. We're going to start with the baker. Max begins with a wonderfully ordinary dream. He wants to become a baker. Why did you choose that dream for him instead of beginning with someone who already wanted to become a warrior or a legendary adventurer?
I think, for me, a lot of it was what happens when a normal guy who's really a nice guy and doesn't want the power is forced into it. And then not only that, you give him something so overwhelmingly, I hate to use the word evil, but it's so naturally evil that it wants him to become that murder hobo. And he is so classically good and helpful that he's able to change the dark black skill into what it should be, without spoiling anything. But I mean, it just, we all have those stories of, oh, I wanted to be the greatest. I just wanted to bake and get married, have kids.
I love that. So we talked a little bit about that black's forbidden skill. It allows him to actually steal higher statistics from creatures he defeats. Where did that mechanic originate, and what rules did you establish to keep that powerful ability interesting?
So I signed a 3 book deal for my Dragon Rider series, and I realized I had to write 3 books that went together. And I'm a pantser, and so I actually sat down and started plotting all of book one of Ultimate Level One. And I wanted to create a system that wouldn't break because everybody hates it when you break your system. So I have a
Yep.
spreadsheet that I actually used for the first arc, all 9 books, that basically ran the growth chart. So I occasionally had to
Cool.
go back and maybe tweak a small percentage, which adjusted everything down, but it served me for 9 books with no issues.
That's great. So the title gives us the central contradiction, right? Max can become extraordinarily powerful while remaining level one. What interested you about separating someone's visual level from their actual growth and potential?
I think a lot of it was, when you think of the level one guy, we are always like, oh, they're just level one. But, level one is just a number. There's lots of ways to earn stats, but at the end of the
Yeah.
day, it also allowed me to cheat the system that I created because he's level
Yeah.
one. He
Right.
doesn't take experience from anybody, so they get free experience because he doesn't take it. He can
Yeah.
group with everyone. It was it was a fun. I don't know. It came to me, and I just went with it.
It's kind of a fun take on like how sometimes we feel as humans, I think too. When, we're told, well, you're new at this, you're new at this, you're new at this, but like there's way more inside there that actually happens. So it's really cool. Your Patreon describes your work as stories with characters who grow. Across 11 books, how did you ensure that Max's emotional and moral development remained as meaningful as his increasing statistics?
So I'm writing book 12 right now, and on my Patreon, I released a chapter 2 or 3 days ago, I think. And Max finally says, "Okay, I've got to do the hard thing." And
Mm.
I always want to be the good guy, but sometimes you can't be the good guy and be black and white. Sometimes, unfortunately, in cosmic battles, there's your planet and somebody else's, and so
Yeah.
he had to go and destroy a capital of another world, and he's like, man, I regret it, but
Yeah.
I'll do it every time. And he's grown as he used to really fight it back and forth, and people are like, man, I'm glad he's not whining about it anymore. I'm like, yeah, because he's grown.
He's
um you know
growing.
it only took a few centuries.
Yeah. Without spoiling the later books, what is one thing readers may not expect when they begin Ultimate Level One Shattered Dreams?
I honestly would say that the mechanic for the party and the family, I've had people come up to me and say, I cried at these moments. And some of the later books in the first 9 books, I really fleshed out some of the other characters, gave more of their background. I learned to write, as I write. And I gave them some justice. And there's a few characters that resonated within the audience, and people were like, wow. I mean, I cried at this moment. I'm like, me too. Like when I wrote it, I cried too. And so,
Yeah.
there's a lot more than just action packed stuff.
I love that about LitRPG too, because there's a lot of books you don't expect to have that moment. And then you find yourself sobbing in it. My friends don't understand that. And I'm like, good writing will do that to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exceptional characters will do that to you. So, after spending 11 books with Max and his companions, was finishing the series satisfying, heartbreaking, or both?
So I'm not quite done with it. I'm still writing the series. Book 9 is the first arc finish, and then the 10 and beyond is the God arc series.
Nice.
It's hard because your fans want you to keep going, and part of me is like, I have 1,000 other ideas.
Yeah.
And so, like some of the other stories have taken longer to go out than I would like. And so I'm trying to get books out, kind of like you talked about Loopbreaker. Book 2 took a lot longer than I wanted, but
Yeah.
I'm working on book 3. So there's a lot of, it's hard because you want to write the story and do it justice, but at the same time, my brain is full of so many other stories I want to share.
Yeah. So, in the last, we're going to move on a little bit to New Worlds. In the last Dragon Rider, you explored the bond between a young rider and a dragon. What does that relationship allow you to explore that Ultimate Level One didn't?
So in that one, it was really a found family. Um, sometime the main character, he didn't have a dad. He's raised by his
Mm,
dad's best friend, and felt kind of like he never belonged, and so finds a dragon. The bond is there. There's a relationship that just clicks, and through that relationship he finally realizes later that the man who's raised him, who though isn't his father, is his dad. And I actually had a grown man, I think he cursed me out in book two, because I made him cry when my MC was like, hey, thanks, Dad. And of course, they both cry and everything. He's like, I realized finally that through that bond, that there is a found family that can be found, that doesn't matter about blood. It's about the relationship.
yeah, I love that. So your newest series, Loopbreaker, follows Francis. When he
Yep.
dies, he returns to the days before his death while retaining every skill and statistic he gained. What excited you about exchanging Max's permanent level for the repeated deaths and accumulating progress of a time loop?
So I always wanted to do a time loop. The fear was, how do you write the same thing over and over without being boring? And
Yeah,
again, I had to give a reason to do what you're doing. So Francis's brother, in the beginning, is the main reason for why he keeps going. He wants to find a way to protect his brother. Obviously, that only goes so far. I've got to get strong enough to do stop this. Well, then there's an army, there's an enemy, and so we continue towards the goal. And so for me, it was really fun to say, how broke can you be? But at the same time, how much can a person's mind endure starting over at the same day, restarting all the relationships? What would you
right.
do different? So it gave me a little bit of opportunity to kind of play with some other things that I kind of wanted to test out.
Do repeated timelines make the plotting easier since you're a pantser, or do they create an entirely new kind of author headache?
Yes to both. So
Yes to all of it.
yes, no, it can be easier sometimes because you're like, oh, we're just going to repeat this again until we get strong enough. But at the same time, as an author, you have to find a way to make it engaging through the repetition, because nobody wants to read the
Right,
same thing. I'm just going to flip the pages. Oh, we got strong. Okay, flip the pages. And
right,
so you've got to also find a way for the person to mature. Francis can't keep being an idiot if he's done something 1,000 times. Eventually he's going to go, I
right.
don't think that works. And so it
Yeah,
grows me just as much as I think it might anybody else.
yeah. So I read a book with my students called The Power of Un. And it's similar in very like early elementary sort of way. And that repeated, they are always like, well, wait a minute, like he's living it again. What's he going to do now? I love that for kids and even for adults, because a lot of times our lives are that repetitive loop. And how do we keep engaged? So I can relate to it in that way. All right, it is time for the fun five. Quick answers, don't overthink them. Ready? What character class would you choose in Max's world?
In Max's world,
Yep.
I would choose a blacksmith.
Okay. What would your ideal black skill do?
Ideal black skill. I would probably say it would be something with consuming ingredients that would allow me to absorb and the knowledge and the power of them.
That'd be fun. Which of your characters would make the best babysitter for six children?
Oh, that would definitely be foul. Nothing
Okay.
like a dwarf to handle that.
So fun. Which character should never be allowed inside a bakery?
Um, that would probably be Max, because he would make too much stuff. He'd spend all the money just making stuff, and you give it all away. You just give it all away.
Yeah. If you had to ride a dragon, what would you name it?
So I actually gave a dragon in it. Rakanoth is the dragon I give Max in the story. So Rakanoth.
Love that. All right. Would you rather, Shawn Wilson edition? You must choose one. Would you rather remain level one forever with Max's consume skill or reach level 100 with a completely useless skill?
Oh man, I probably would say I would go with the level one.
Okay. Would you rather fight through a dungeon with Max or die repeatedly inside Francis's time loop?
I'd definitely go. I would not want to die over and over. It still hurts.
Yeah. Would you rather bake bread for an entire adventures guild or provide bedtime stories for a cave full of baby dragons?
Oh snap! I'd probably go with the cave full of dragons.
Might be really fun. I see some Shrek in there somewhere, with all the little
Yeah.
baby
You,
donkey
I
dragons.
was
How
just say you can have a
fun.
lot of fun with them. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right, final question. So you began as Dad's Bedtime Stories, writing for your children and with your children, and now thousands of readers are following your worlds. When your kids look at everything you've created, what do you hope they learn from watching their dad pursue his dreams?
That it's never too late to try something new. I didn't start writing until I was 48.
Oh,
And yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that.
And so, one day I sat down and I just started writing, and I wasn't very good, but I just kept going at it, and I still don't
Okay.
think I'm great, but here I am.
I don't know. I think your fans would disagree with you on that one.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me and taking us inside your worlds. Before we go, tell everyone where they can find you and what they should watch for next.
You can find me on Amazon. Author Shawn Wilson. If you Google any of my books from Ultimate Level 1 to Battle Through the Nine Realms or any of those stories, I have a tongue in cheek comedy for the older people, which is the Warden's Wood, if you like staff jokes, with nothing bad in it, except staff jokes. That's it. I've got a couple co-writes also, like Common Sense, which again is a humor, cozy story, where the magical power is common sense. And so I'm playing into a little bit more humor in my past year to just kind of live through life and everything else.
Yeah. Love that so much. Thank you again. I really
Thank you.
appreciate it. Everybody else, keep following me and stay tuned for the next one. Thank
Thank
you.